What's up, everybody? Well, Hasim did, and his promoter and Serafina, his team, I guess, did a interview and had about 20, had a whole bunch of fucking reporters on there, right? And, you know, all of a sudden now these reporters are tough guys. They have spine, they have a backbone, they have cojones, you know. They didn't do this line of questioning with Bob Arum. They didn't do this line of questioning with anybody that had dealings with Daniel Kinningham. They didn't and Fury. They didn't do this with him. They didn't have the cojones to sit up over here and ask questions like Hasim has gotten in this interview, which is very interesting because then you start to find out that, Hasim's team did have time to respond to the new contract that was drafted up with a rehydration clause. He did have time to respond, and very interesting that anytime you're above 200 pounds, you're technically a heavyweight, so 205 and 215 should have been A-okay. But, then we find out that Jake's team pulled the plug early before the 3 hours or 4 hours before the deadline. So via social media. So now things are starting to unfold. But I'm surprised that Hasim team didn't take a better offensive front based off of the allegations that they have against Jake, which is kind of tweeters a line of, he had no intentions on executing the obligations of the contract that he signed within good faith. That's what it kind of seems like. But there's always two sides to the fucking story. But when you start to hear that, whatever Jake was saying is starting to look kind of fuzzy now because you actually starting to hear the other side of the story, and it's kind of is attacking what Jake has been saying. So, talking about some very unprofessional, don't ever work with the guy, and when I hear somebody say very unprofessional, don't work with the guy, why would you say that? And then I take it the aspect and I look and say, okay, you knew the guy was 224, 225, right? In July. And beginning of last month, right? You knew that him dropping 24, 25 pounds within 3-4 weeks will put you at an advantage. You knew that. Now, you knew that. So why would you give somebody a contract and then do things to the person leading up to the fight, extra weigh-ins and stuff like that to try to get him to rush to put on the weight so he can drain himself even more. So why would you put somebody in a situation to where that you're putting monkey wrenches in his game plan to where the fight could never happen? What kind of unprofessional stuff is that to where you actually will have to harass somebody to make weight on your schedule too fast to where they can't come into the fight 100%, or something on that line. Just that right there is just something to think about because, this weight bullying stuff and this bullying in general when it comes to contracts and obligations of a contract has been going on far too much in the sport of boxing. I don't see why folks just can't have can't just shoot a fair one. It's mind-boggling. Well, but that's my rant for today. Shout outs to the boxing world and everybody stay sucker free.